This train journey was supposed to be just another family trip. But in the mountains, everything changed forever, and nothing would ever be the same. The Summers family, Marcus 45, Vivian 40, Alara 14, and Jasper 8 boarded the late-night train with tired smiles and heavy bags. They were leaving behind a week of noise, deadlines, and city lights. The plan was simple. Spend the weekend in the quiet mountain town of Grayridge. Just a small trip, some peace, some rest. The station was nearly empty. The old signboard swung gently in the wind, squeaking with each movement. The air smelled like cold iron and wet dust. Marcus looked down the tracks, the faint glow of the train's headlights slicing through the fog. Perfect night for a ride, he said, trying to sound cheerful. Vivian smiled faintly. If you ignore the ghosts. Alara rolled her eyes, earbuds in, the glow of her phone reflecting in her eyes. Jasper clutched a small toy train in his hands, humming softly. When the whistle blew, they boarded quickly. The train's doors closed with a tired hiss. The wheels began to move. Clack, 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 clack. It was almost like a heartbeat. Calm, predictable. For a while, the ride was peaceful. The train cut through mountains cloaked in silver fog. Trees passed by like silent spectators. The lights inside flickered every few minutes. Nothing unusual for such an old route. But then something strange happened. The mist outside didn't drift away. It followed. Each curve of the track seemed to drag it closer until it pressed against the windows like a living thing. Vivian frowned, rubbing her arms. It's getting cold. Marcus checked the vents. A heater's fine. Must be the altitude. A whisper slid past their ears. A soft, hollow sound. Jasper looked up. Mom. Someone said my name. Vivian froze. What? He pointed to the window. It came from outside. She looked. There was nothing, just the reflection of her own face in the glass. But behind it, she could swear she saw another outline. Faint and gray, smiling faintly. Before she could speak, the train lurched violently. Wags tumbled from the racks. Lights flickered, buzzed, and died. The wheels screamed against the rails and then silence. When the lights returned, the family found themselves alone. The train had stopped. The windows revealed only endless fog and the faint outline of jagged cliffs. Marcus stood. We're not at any station, Vivian whispered. Then where are we? No one answered. There was no announcement, no conductor, no sign of life. Just the low hum of the train engine fading into silence. Marcus sighed. We need some fresh air. He opened the doors and a rush of icy wind swept in. The fog thickened like smoke. The mountains loomed high, silent and still. The family stepped out together, unaware that the night had only just begun to wake. The air was sharp, filled with the faint scent of pine and rust. They could barely see a few feet ahead, the fog curling and twisting like it had formed like it was alive. Vivian rubbed her hands together. How far is the next station? Marcus scanned the darkness. Can't be far. Maybe a mile or so. Then Jasper pointed. Look, lights. A faint orange glow shimmered in the distance. Small, flickering, like a lantern. Maybe a truck stop, maybe a cottage. They decided to walk. The gravel crunched beneath their shoes as they followed the narrow track leading through the trees. The further they went, the quieter everything became. No crickets, no wind, no sound of the train they had just left. And then came the whispers. At first they sounded like the wind brushing through branches, but soon they became clearer, soft voices murmuring their names, echoing memories only they could know. Vivian's steps slowed. Marcus, I heard your mother's voice. Marcus frowned. That's not funny. I'm not joking, she whispered, her eyes wide. She said, you shouldn't have come. Jasper whimpered, clutching his toy train. Alara reached for his hand, but her own fingers were trembling. The voices grew louder, circling them like unseen predators. And then they saw her. A woman crouched on the ground ahead, her back turned. Her long black hair hung in tangles, her pale arms trembling as she tore into something on the ground. When she looked up, her mouth was wet with blood. The torn carcass of a wolf lay at her feet. Her eyes were white, no pupils, no life, just glowing emptiness. When she smiled, her teeth were sharp, jagged, and wrong. Vivian covered her mouth. "Oh God." The woman tilted her head, her voice cracking like broken glass. "You're late. The train doesn't wait for the dead." Behind her, shapes began to form grotesque figures, half human, half shadow. Their faces were stretched, melted, unrecognizable. They watched silently, their hollow eyes filled with hunger, not for flesh, but for fear. Vivian screamed, "Run!" They turned and sprinted back toward the tracks, hearts pounding, lungs burning. A train horn blared through the fog, a deep, haunting sound. "The train!" Marcus shouted. "It's leaving!" But when they reached the rails, all they saw was the back of the last carriage vanishing in the mist. The light disappeared, the sound fading like a dream. They were alone. Night fell completely. The fog swallowed the moon. Vivian trembled, clutching Jasper close. Alara kept looking back. "Dad," she whispered, "they're still following us." Marcus turned. The silhouettes were there, still distant, but walking. Always walking. Always the same distance away. He grabbed Vivian's hand. "We need shelter." They found it, a cabin half buried in the hillside. Its door hung loose and the windows were blackened with soot. Inside, the air smelled of damp wood and decay. But it was shelter. They shut the door. The whispers stopped for now. Jasper curled up near the wall, clutching his toy. Alara stared out the cracked window, her reflection merging with the fog outside. "I feel like they know us," she murmured, "like they've been waiting." Vivian knelt beside her. "It's just fear, sweetheart. We'll be okay." But even as she said it, something scratched against the outside wall. Once, twice, slow and deliberate. Marcus gripped a piece of wood. "Stay here." He stepped outside. Nothing but fog and silence. But in the dirt near the doorway, he saw footprints bare, human footprints circling the cabin. When he went back inside, the temperature had dropped. The toy train Jasper held was running on its own, the wheels spinning without sound. Marcus picked it up, but when he turned it over, something was carved beneath it. A name. "Ilaura." He froze. "Vivian, did you?" A whisper cut him off. "She's already chosen." They spun toward the sound. Elora was gone. They ran outside, shouting her name into the endless fog. "Alara! Alara!" But the only answer was the echo of their own voices and faint laughter. A child's laughter, distant and cruel. Vivian fell to her knees, sobbing. Marcus tried to stay calm, scanning the shadows. Then he saw movement, a flicker of color through the mist. "Ilara!" He ran toward it, leaving Vivian and Jasper behind. What he found froze him to his core. Alara stood among a ring of dark figures, the grotesque ones from before. The woman with the bloodied mouth stood beside her, whispering into her ear. Alara didn't look afraid. She looked peaceful. Her skin was pale, her eyes distant, as though she was listening to something beyond this world. Marcus reached out. "Baby, come here. Please." She turned slowly, her voice hollow. "You left me. When the train stopped, you left me behind." No, Alara, that's not." Her smile was wrong. "You should have stayed on the train." And then the fog swallowed her. The figures vanished. Only silence remained. When Marcus returned, Vivian was gone too. Her coat lay on the ground, her footprints disappearing into the mist. Jasper clung to him, crying, "Dad, are we dead?" Marcus couldn't answer. He just held his son close and walked. Hours passed, maybe days. There was no sun, no moon, just endless gray. Marcus carried Jasper on his back, following what felt like a road but could have been anything. His thoughts blurred. Every sound was an echo. Every shadow moved when he blinked. Finally, through the thinning mist, headlights appeared. A truck. Marcus waved frantically. The driver stopped. "Hey, are you two okay?" The man's voice was deep, concerned. Marcus tried to speak, but the words came out broken. We lost them." The driver frowned. "Who? My wife?" "My daughter." "The train." He stopped. Saying it aloud made it sound insane. The driver looked confused. There's no train track up here anymore. That line shut down 10 years ago. Marcus stared. What? The driver shook his head. You must be lost, friend. Come on, let's get you somewhere safe. Marcus climbed into the truck, holding Jasper tight. As the truck drove off, he looked back. The fog behind them twisted, and for a moment, he saw a shape standing on the old tracks, a girl, waving softly. It was Alara. Weeks later, Marcus and Jasper tried to rebuild their lives. Vivian and Alara were declared missing, presumed dead. But Marcus knew better. Every night, when he closed his eyes, he heard it. Clack, 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 clack. A train running through the mountains, where no train should exist. Sometimes in the silence before dawn, Jasper whispered, Dad, she's calling me again. Marcus would pull him close, whispering, She can't reach us. We're safe now. But outside in the wind came the faint sound of a whistle low, distant, and filled with sorrow. And sometimes, if you listened carefully, you could hear the wheels echoing through the hills. Clack, 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 clack. The journey never ended. It simply found new passengers. You've already stepped too far into the dark. Subscribe, and let the shadows whisper their next truth directly into your ear.